Hey everyone, we just got done with our Digimon tournament, 5 round Swiss. It was, what, 19 players today because the other portion of our players were playing on our webcam this whole weekend. Ryan here, top date with his Imperialdramon deck. I know all you guys have seen Imperialdramon decks like left and right, and you're probably tired of it, but the ones who are still interested, especially the matchup when yellow is very dominant.
Oh yeah.
I mean, walk us through this.
Yeah. I don't know. Just yellow in general is just really hard, but as long as you don't break, that's like the most crucial thing. But it's honestly like the only reason I even lost one of my games is because we went into game 3, and the last game I just did not draw a single rookie, and then the rest of the cards were all level 6 and 7. So it's like I'm not going to hard play that against yellow because giving too much memory, that's just giving them too much advantage at that point. You know?
How much a memory is too much to give yellow?
If you give them more than like 3, then they're in a good spot, but it depends on what their hand is too, because I did give my my friend 4 memory in one turn, and it didn't really like fully mess me up, but at that time I had nothing on the field, so he couldn't really DP reduce. He was just kind of swinging, and he swung into something that got rid of his guy essentially. So that's also a thing. Security is really important. If your security is really bad at that point, you just kind of auto lose against yellow, but as long as you have like maybe like a Hammer Spark or a Cocytus, you're fine. Just one is already good enough to essentially win you the game almost.
All right, cool. Let's do a speed run of your deck build.
Okay, sure. So for the babies, we're running 4 Demi Vmons because everything in this deck runs jamming, so you want to get that draw, and that draw can potentially get you the Imperialdramon you need to evolve into, and potentially just hit for another maybe 2 hits. And then for the 5th baby, we just run this just in case, because sometimes your opponent does hard play stuff, and most of the time you will have maybe like one guy that doesn't have a Digivolution, so you will most likely get the draw off that. That's all for the babies. For the rookies, we of course run the typical 4 Vmons. My ratio is kind of weird. I kind of lowered it down. I put Gabumon at 3, the draw 1. Sometimes there's like really clutch moments where you're just not drawing anything, so you just kind of have to hard play him, and then you potentially can draw into what you need for next turn. And then standard of 3 Lightmons. And then I'm trying this out. I honestly didn't want to use this Vmon originally, but it was pretty good. It got me that extra draw that actually got me to my Imperialdramon, so it worked out actually. And then that's literally all the rookies I have. I feel like I'm going to put maybe 1 or 2 more because I did brick in some of the matches and just not see them at all. Like there's 12 here, but I feel like I should run at least maybe like 1 more, maybe 2 more to make it even, because I have a lot of level 4s.
Like 14 is usually the normal count.
Yeah, I did a little bit lower than that, and I feel like that's what basically lost me the game, honestly. For level 4s, I have, of course, 2x Vmons. Originally, I had this at 3, but it was kind of bricky, so I just kind of reduced it down, and it also helped me fit Omnimon later on that I'll show you. I'm running 2 Vdramon because most of the time your opponent will occasionally hit into Davis and security, so you can just like play this, like evolve on top of this, and then it gains jamming. So you just have another jamming guy, essentially. And then 2 Frigimon because jamming. 2 Gorillas for easy evolution. I will be replacing this with that new blue level 4 that's like 3 cost, because that way it's like I don't have to ever hard play him. I can just hard play the other guy and just kind of go off. And then of course you need blockers. 2 feels right. I needed him occasionally, but most of the time I did draw into him, so it wasn't too bad. And then just in case, to basically finish it off, if you still don't have enough hits or attacks, but you still have your Tamer, you can just have a Lobomon evolve for 2 and just swing for game. That's basically all the level 4s in the deck. That's about...
How did Digimon do for you?
It did pretty well. When I evolved him on top of something, it was fine. Having to hard play him wasn't too bad, but most of the time you do want him to be on top of something, especially the having one of the babies to give it a draw, because if not, you're just kind of like swinging and hoping that you hit something. Oh, well, I mean, like, you're going to have jamming regardless, but it's just you want to have that draw to just gain more advantage as fast as possible, because this deck excels at that as long as you keep drawing. And then for level 5s, it's pretty standard. It's just 4 Imperialdramon, 4 Dino Bees. Honestly, I like seeing this more, but having him is actually pretty crucial sometimes, especially if your opponent has a blocker. The piercing helps a lot. This is more important because it gives that unsuspend for Imperialdramon. So I usually like to evolve him like in the hatching zone while I have this guy kind of out there hitting.
Do you feel like you gotta reserve the Imperialdramon? Do you feel like you have to hold on to him a little, like, pretty much find the right time to play it, while just kind of beating out with the Dino B?
In certain situations, yeah, but most of the time you just want to get him here as soon as possible.
Okay.
But some like in my final match, I actually did have to kind of just push him out here and kind of swing. Even like I had like one Dino B, but I just wanted him out here regardless. He did die, but like the next turn I just kind of like used Dino B instead, and it still worked out. It's just certain situations you just kind of have to weigh. Like, do you want to be able to unsuspend and hit as hard as possible for like 3, or do you want to do some piercing on them because they have a blocker? Usually, if you have a blocker, I would say play this instead. But then it just depends on the situation. Like if they just have one like a blocker. If not, just do the Imperialdramon and just kind of keep them here. Maybe play a rookie here and just call it good. And just kind of have them kind of hit into your security. The thing with blue I noticed while I was playing is that your security is really important. If you just don't have anything good like a Kakaitis or a Hammer, as I mentioned before, there's not really gonna win the game because you want to be able to get rid of one of their big guys first and bring in Imperialdramon and just swing for game. Yeah, that's that for the level 5s, and then for level 6s, we're running 6 exactly. We have 4 Imperialdramons because, you know, jamming plus the Digivolve. I only managed to get his Digivolving effect where he unsuspends all jamming like once, and I hit for game with that, but most of the time I was just like swinging as hard as possible with him and maybe making like 2 of him. And that was already enough to basically kill your opponent, because at that point that's already like 6 security as long as they don't heal a lot like yellow. Yellow will just heal for a while, but as long as you just keep kind of like rebuilding him in your hatching zone, you should be fine. Then for the other 2 level 6s, we have Puppetmon. Puppetmon came in actually pretty clutch. I had to play 2 of these in a row for 2 turns because my opponent already had his War Greymon outside to stun it. Then the next turn, he already had a second one, so I had a Boulder Arms, and I had to play the second one to basically like lock him down for the turn so I could build up my Imperialdramon in time. Yeah, he's pretty clutch. I was planning to actually take him out, but now I'm kind of glad I didn't because he actually helped me win the game essentially. For level 7s, we're only running 2 Omnimons. So far, I actually took this out originally because I wanted to fit in more level 4s, but I'm actually kind of glad I had this because my second round, I actually played against a yellow-red security, and I couldn't punch over his Crania, so I had to evolve into an Omnimon essentially just to be able to kill it and then swing for game with this and a rookie. So Omnimon is really important in this deck, so got to have him at least at 2. At 1, it's like you're not going to see him, so you just got to have it like that. And then for Tamers, I have 3 Davis. Just for, you know, the search and setting your memory is really important, plus evolving Lobomon on top of him for that final hit. So it doesn't really matter if you like have 2 Davises. You're just going to plus off that regardless. Then after the Tamers, for the options, I run, originally I was running 8, but I'm running 7 now to kind of like fit in the Omnimons and the XVmons. So I have 4 Hammer Spark and 3 Kakaitis. Originally when I had a 4th, it was kind of breaking a lot, but this ratio is fine. The 4 Hammer Spark is like like there's no was it like saying like not to run less than 4. 4 is the absolute, like you must play 4 because this actually clutches out games, because if your opponent leaves you at 1 memory and you draw like 1, you can just set to 2 and then draw off another 1 and then maybe get 3, and you can just set up your Imperialdramon immediately. And Kakaitis, you want to see this in security, but most of the time, if you have to hard play this, it's not too bad. It just depends on how much memory you have at that time. And that's basically the deck.
How many times have you seen show up in your hand?
A lot, actually. For some reason, it actually bricked every single match I had. I drew into it the first turn or the second turn. So it was okay, but I mean, I can see why people run it at 2, but I'd rather have at least 3 just in case, because there were moments where I actually had to hard play it and do it, but it did work out in the end. So
From the 5 rounds, what did you play against?
so first round I played a mirror match actually, and it was just a race against who could get Imperialdramon, and luckily he didn't draw his, so I just punched him for game. Second round, I went against red-yellow security. That was a really tough match. I almost decked out, but I just kept punching and punching and punching, and the only times I had difficulty was when I hit into like 3 Gaia forces. Like there was one, the first security I hit into it, then the next one was just a normal rookie, then another Gaia force, and I was just like, oh, okay, I guess. And I just kept punching, just kept making that, and then eventually I actually ended up with 2 Omnimons just to beat him, but I did it. And then the third round, it was against yellow. Was it yellow? No. It was against black. Pure black blockers. It wasn't too bad. The second match, I legitimately almost lost, but it was just kind of like just getting the cards in the correct order.
And black plays a lot of blockers.
Oh yeah,
I work against a deck that has winning jammers.
I literally had to every single time just kind of build up into Imperialdramon, just keep swinging until I hit through. Though my opponent did brick because it is black and it will brick a lot. So he maybe got like he got me with 1 Chaosmon. He killed my my rookie in that process, but it was fine. I ended up just hard playing Kikaitis at that point because he gave me 6 memory. So I just hit him with that and got rid of it, and he didn't have anything in the hatching zone, so it was just game there. Then the next one I played pure yellow against Carlos. It was a tough game. I honestly, like, if my last match, if I had gotten like a better hand, it probably would have been more closer, but it was 2-1, so it's whatever. It happens. And then the final one was also pure yellow again, and that was a 2-1 on my side this time, and it was just really clutch. The only reason I even really won was because of my security. My opponent hit into an Omnimon and that basically killed their War Greymon, and I already killed most of the other guys except for maybe one other hitter. So that basically clutched me the game.
Or was the War Greymon swing for? Just 11 base or?
Yeah, it was just 11 base. It wasn't getting a boost, so it just died from that. Yeah.
So we're only about 3 weeks away till set 5. Are you planning on playing anything new, or?
I do. I already have D Brigade made. I'm just going to basically turn it into D Brigade Black Security, and I also have a purple deck, and I already have Shoutmon cards. Technically, I have the Japanese copies, but I will be buying a lot of boxes to get Shoutmon. So I have other options, but most of the time, I think I'm probably just going to be playing Imperialdramon because this deck is still actually faster even than Shoutmon. Shoutmon is fast, but if your opponent has a blocker or they just kind of like stop your Shoutmon from doing anything, you basically lose that matchup. So Imperialdramon is still a good matchup for now. I will be updating it with the newer cards to kind of like boost it because I'm just going to be trashing a lot of stuff anyway. So it'll be basically just Imperialdramon trash deck. That's basically it.
What are you going to be replacing if you let's like
I actually found out about a actual other level 4 that can replace Gorillamon. It's was it like Toby Rimamon, whatever. It's this other level 4, but it costs 3 to play, and it's still a 1 cost to evolve too. So I'm going to be replacing the Gorillamons with this because there was one time where I almost had to hard play a Gorillamon just to like put something on the field, and I'd rather maybe switch it into something that I could do that. So that, and then I'm going to see if I can maybe fit Hexabloomon maybe. I know he's really good in Japan. I've seen some of the matches work out with him. He just removes everything, and then combined with the new Blue Tamer, was it Sora and Joe? That will essentially help you just kind of like hit for harder security. So
what's the name of the level 4?
It's like Tobimon. I think I have one on me actually. This one. Yeah, this one. I'm gonna be replacing it with this one. Yeah.
Okay, so it's the same one from set 4.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know about it. Yeah, like where is that? I remember seeing this, but I never really like looked at it. And then the blue Imperialdramon player I was playing in the first round, I saw him play it. I was like, oh, that's a really good option. It's way better than Gorilla now at this point. Yeah. But aside from that, it's just putting in whatever the new the best new rookies, and possibly putting in maybe more, or maybe switching out some of the option cards maybe, because I saw there were some really good blue option cards. So mainly just updating it with all the new BT 5 stuff essentially.
Anyone, any shout outs you want to give?
Oh yeah, shout out to my friend Nelson, my friend Steven, my friend Jason, because he rule sharked me to hell 2 days ago actually. No joke. He actually rule sharked me on Thursday when we were playing, and that got me to kind of just remember to draw from all the drawings. So but I did make one mistake in that, but earlier against Carlos, but it's whatever, it happens. One mistake out of the whole thing. But shout outs to them for basically helping me essentially play test the deck, because I did not play this deck at all. I played the Metal Garurumon deck, and that's all I really had experience, and maybe Rookie Rush, but that was a mix. I legit did not know how to play this deck at all, and by playing them, I basically slowly learned how to do it. So thanks to them for that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, any last words before we close this segment?
Oh yeah. Also, technically, shout out to the Snowman locals that we have there, because if anybody's interested, we're still trying to grow that community a little bit. We only have 10, 13 people.
10 or 13 people. 20?
We have 20 now? Okay, yeah, 20. We have 20 people.
Everyone's 20 people in Pablo's garage?
No. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, because everybody has conflicting schedules. But but if anybody's interested to drive up there to play with us, we got several stores, I think, that we can probably do that, Funimonium and Griffin's Nest and Sebastopol, and yeah. And of course Pablo's garage.
Pablo's garage.
and Outer Planes technically.
Cool. Yeah. Well, thank you very much for your deck profile, and can't wait to see you guys. What's coming up next in the near future. Yeah. All right. Everyone at home, or why do I say at home? People probably, maybe they're watching at home. I don't know. But don't forget to click the like, subscribe. Actually, we're trying to reach 1,000 subscriptions, and if we happen to get to that part, we'll be raffling off a booster box of BT5 if we manage to reach our goals. So. Yeah, if you guys can, go ahead, please subscribe. Leave a comment below. What do you guys think of Imperialdramon in this current format? I know yellow's very dominant and can be kind of tricky to deal against. But, Ryan only lost 1 game out of 5. Even though he played with, only 2 yellows?
Yeah. The rest, the fact that the first match was a mirror match was hilarious. I was not expecting that, but it worked out pretty well. So, yeah. At least I know it works.
All right. Yeah. Well, peace out, everyone.
Yeah.